Hello, everybody. I'm Jeremy Silver.
Hi, everybody. I'm Juan. And this is...
It's Juan.
Come on, get him out. You know you're dying to.
Okay, well.
So we're going to start this episode of Triggered. We're not going to make any sense.
I picked this up at the Value Village, and it's a little antique puppy from Mexico. I looked it up. It's probably about 50, 60, maybe even 80 years old. It's kind of hard to tell. He's in great shape. Either that or it's a knockoff, and I don't really know. But I named him Juan, which is the proper phonetic sound for J in Spanish, just for the record.
So I brought it up to trigger you, and now you're going to trigger me about the fact that you...
I won't even tell you what that looked like from this side. Bad, Juan. Bad.
Okay, you got Juan in there. We got our happy Buddha in there with enough of his belly.
Well, I'm sorry. Ahmed, the dead terrorist, was taken.
That's true. That's true. You lead, man.
Well, yeah, we come into this pretty much with no plan. So we
Much
talk
like life.
Yeah, no kidding. We talk about whatever is on our mind, and
I thought I had a necklace. It's just the screen.
Oh, that's true. Either that or you've got a hole in your throat. I don't know which. I think I wanted to talk about the online dating scene.
Yep.
Yeah, this time because, in my opinion, it's not necessarily destroying relationships, but it is making the dating and potentially finding a relationship much more difficult and impractical. And in my opinion, it's one of the main reasons why there are so many single people and people who have given up.
Wow. I agree with most of that, except it is wrecking relationships, both formed and unformed.
Well, you're talking about people who use dating sites as hookups.
Well, the next thing I was going to ask you to define, please, is what's a dating site these days? Because, and I know that this will trigger you a little bit, not in a bad way. You're not going to get mad. You're just going to be like, yeah, I'm very against it, as we all should be. Facebook has become online dating, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
The DMs. So what are we talking? Yes.
Well, there's actually a Facebook dating.
And it's retarded.
Yeah.
I hope I don't trigger anybody using that word.
But it's, dating apps are completely geared towards women. Completely.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Right? Because any woman who logs on gets free messages, doesn't have to pay.
It's always been the way, though.
Right. But they log on
smart.
And they don't have to pay. Actually, no, it hasn't always been the way.
Because
originally, the very first ever dating site, I believe, was eHarmony. And eHarmony billed everybody equally. And I don't know if they still do. But places
like... Do you pay? Have you ever been on a dating app and paid?
Yeah, I have in the past, yeah.
I would never pay a dating app. I've used them, but I would never pay for it.
But
what's the difference? How much better is it when you pay?
You basically just get access to any women that send you messages. Right. Yeah, most of the apps, the reason they are designed to be specifically targeted towards women is because, in case you're unaware, ladies, anytime you send a man a like, it doesn't tell him. For the most part, it actually holds that like hostage until he pays to see that you liked him.
So,
those apps are specifically designed towards women. And I've actually been reading tons about this and doing research into the psychology behind it as much as I can, because I'm not a psychologist. But that mentality has impacted the Gen Z more than we would like to think. And those are our early 20-year-olds, because those women have gone onto the dating sites and get hammered with hundreds of messages. Like, I've talked to women's experiences on there, and they say it's absolutely overwhelming because they set up a dating profile and an hour later they've got 100 messages.
Have you seen the Netflix special about this with teenagers?
No.
You don't want to. We should talk about that next, and I shouldn't take this there because I've got more to say on this subject. But what you're talking about happens with 12 to 15-year-olds every single day on all of the social media from grown men.
Interesting.
That'll be our next topic. We'll give you something to research too.
But the side effect of these 20-something-year-old women logging on to this dating app and getting hammered with 100 men is they go in with the idea that they are going to find the 1% man. Okay? And that is literally, that's the side effect of it. If you look at all of the research studies and all of the interviews
advertising makes young ladies think, let's say a 20-year-old female logs onto a dating app and she takes an hour and she puts on every emoji she can find, and like she actually takes it seriously. She fills out the whole profile.
Yeah.
She puts a couple like she's for real. She's serious.
Yes. Got it.
And then hour later, little icon says 99 plus because she's got like 300 plus guys from everywhere in the world that's possible to enter that app, and half of them out of all of them, maybe like 1%, if she can sift through it, might be somebody genuine trying to actually date her and say hi. The other 99% is what? Hookups, spam.
No, actually. I would say 98% of them are people genuinely looking for conversation. and in my opinion, what's happening is that 1 or 2% of men who are out there looking for hookups are the ones who just are biologically happy.
You only think 1 or 2% of the men on dating apps are looking for hookups?
Actually, I have no idea statistically what that is, but let me tell you what I do know for sure.
How about it's 99%?
Let me finish.
Okay.
What I do know for sure is statistically it's been proven that what happens is women will go through all of the 99 requests, scan through the pictures, and pick the 1% of men that are taller, that say they make tons of money, that are physically more attractive. Some people are just gifted and are better looking than the rest of us. I get that.
See, wow, stop that. Then I'm going to interrupt you here.
Out of that 1 or 2%
reading out of a book,
men,
man. You're reading the shit out of a book. It's not real.
It is real.
Sorry, this is a bunch of doctors clinically analyzing crap.
No, it's not.
No, yeah,
I'm not just talking about doctors analyzing crap.
Do you know why I hate dating apps?
Why?
Because when I have been on them, I don't put up a picture. You know why I don't like putting up a picture? Because of what you just fucking said, and I'm triggered by it. I'm the one triggered on this one. I was walking into this one thinking, we've both tried to put these off, which is really ironic because you think you're in the mood to talk about life at any time, but life is going on around us at the same time. Anyways, I was tempted to not do this one. I wasn't in the mood to talk about it because I got a couple things. I didn't put a picture up, and the first thing that's assumed is I'm married. These are anybody who's... I'm kind of a veteran with dating sites, I'll admit it. I've been around a while. Plenty of Fish, most popular one here in Medicine Hat. Most people call it Plenty of Fuckers. It changed tremendously. It's not user-friendly anymore. It's ugly to look at. And yeah, now they want men to pay upfront right off the start. So I would never pay for a dating app. Ever. And what I'm getting at is, do you know why I hate putting my picture up?
Why?
Because then you're part of what I called the dating buffet. And you know what? At some point, everybody clicks on every fucking picture. It's a buff fucking fay. Like, I'm triggered by even talking about it. You can roll your eyes all you want, but what you said there isn't fair. You can't be upset with a person who doesn't find your picture attractive.
I never said I was.
Well, kind of insinuated that they're selecting by... Yeah, they go for the pictures they like. What are you supposed to do?
Well, we go for
the
pretty girls' pictures, too.
Says who? That's what I'm saying. You're reading out of a book. You're rolling your eyes. I'm triggering him. This is awesome.
But because I'm not just reading it out of a book. I've watched thousands of.
Do you know what most men do on
social interaction?
Do you know what most men do on Tinder? I don't know if the ladies out there know this.
Why?
And I've talked to enough of my friends that wow. And this is the same thing that happens with Facebook. In fact, I've noticed most of the dating apps have some sort of, let's make this quick. And you know what? It's all physical when you're making it quick, right? You know what most of the men are doing on these apps? They're just sitting there swiping right, man. Mm-hmm. It's numbers.
Yeah.
What you're reading...
It's numbers. I don't do that on dating apps. What you're reading is
the psychological analyzation of the people who actually take these dating apps seriously. And I do believe that's 1%. The rest of our society has been sexualized. And from my experience, the women are sick of all the men only wanting hookups.
But all the men don't only want hookups. The ones that they choose only want hookups. That's my point. Like women, you can say
how are they supposed to tell the difference?
You can say, I'm not sure, but you can say that men only want one thing. But the truth is that you're picking those men who only want one thing, because we're not all like that,
So
regardless of how much you tell yourself that.
Okay, so then you got to rely on the physical part of it, which unfortunately,
But yes,
defending the
because it's
physical-
online dating.
Okay,
That's the problem. That's my point. If you meet somebody in person, it's different. Here, you want a proven statistic? 15. You and your duck quack.
someone's quacking at me. That's my ringtone. and
15 years ago, if you wanted to date somebody, let's say you were going to Harvard. Let's use Harvard as an example, okay? Harvard Law School. You wanted to date, you were in college. Generally, you would have to date within that demographic because you did not have online dating. You could not open up your phone and meet some guy on the other side of the country and see people from the other side of the country. Just like in Medicine Hat, when you open it up now, you see tons of girls or guys in Calgary or in Lethbridge. Now, before that existed, you were limited to getting off of your ass and going outside and meeting people. Right? So now the impression that people get when they open up those dating apps is that you have endless opportunities, and it's targeted specifically at women for that. You have endless opportunities, endless amounts of men to choose from, because now you have the world on a dating app, or maybe not the world, but at least Alberta. And but it's not real. It's not. And it gives people that mentality of, I can just keep looking till I find the perfect one person. There's the one mentality, which is so freaking destructive. And everybody can say, I found the one, and I was married to the greatest man in the world.
Maybe we're on the wrong apps.
But you know what? I mean, that's fine that you found the greatest man in the world and that he was the one, or the other way around, right? But that's not true, because that's not what I mean by finding the one. That means you worked your ass off to make your relationship work. You both compromised, you both loved each other, and you both stuck it out. Good for you. I'm proud of you, okay? Better than I did. But you know what?
That's a shitty thing for you to say.
Well, yeah, but it's...
Why is breaking up bad?
Breaking up's not bad. It's been seen as our society as bad.
Then why did you just say you did better than I did?
Because
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have
You love
kids.
them? Are they the next heroes of our world?
Yes.
How'd you do bad?
Well, they're not a bad outcome of that.
Then how'd you do bad? Are you happy now that we're going to dive, I'm taking this a whole completely
Because
different.
I went in to my marriage with the idea of, no matter how miserable you are, no matter how much you
I might need to look at that.
hate this relationship, no matter how much you want out, you stay and you don't go.
I don't
because,
believe in that.
Because breaking up is bad and you took vows and that's your marriage.
Breaking bad. Okay. So
And I was wrong.
Here's what you made me think of.
Yeah.
I'm part of this, it's called Mind Valley on Facebook. I bought a brain course. I paid big bucks for this course that teaches you about your brain and how it works. And part of this group have all these questions. People always looking for the answers of life. And this lady, she asked the group this question. She said she's been with her husband for 23 years, but the last 10 years she wasn't in love anymore. She knew it. She's known for 13 of 23 years that they're not in love anymore. And she was asking the group, she wanted to leave. And she was asking the group what they thought because of everything you just said.
Yeah.
Now, because of my previous relationship with my wife and the life we led, I have different outlooks on all of this. And in becoming a widower, I've had to look at the positive side of life. And because I vowed to never lie to women or anybody else for that matter in my life as a promise to my wife for my mistakes, all this poured out of me. I don't think people should be together if they're not happy. And I don't, it's unfortunately, I think what you're trying to say about the dating apps is people have been programmed and the younger generation, and it does trigger you. I think you're bothered that all these younger ladies, younger women with the right intentions are logging on and they're looking for the 1%. And I think you're trying to say you don't know your 1%. It's like a needle in a haystack. It's one of a million things.
Well, they find those 1% of men.
But it's superficial,
and they're getting used,
or it's
and
superficial.
It's superficial.
Best.
They're getting laid. That's it.
Quite honest. Okay, quite honestly.
You know what I would say to any woman who says, "Oh, that's not true. I've met tons of those 1% guys." Well, how many of those guys put a ring on your finger? That's my question to you. How many of those
Is it
guys
safe to say,
slept
though,
with you and left
is
you?
it
Because those are the 1% you're dating. Hi, sorry.
Okay, but it goes both ways.
Of course it does.
Women
I'm
are
not
looking
just
for
picking on
hookups
women,
just as much
but
now.
dating sites have targeted women.
What is
as that
dating these days, though? This is the Okay, I got lost in what I was saying about the woman being divorced, but here's the other ironic thing. I watched this podcast called Whatever. They've been making waves here and there. They talk about some very interesting things. And this girl, she made the rounds on a lot of the news clips on Facebook because she was trying to say that nobody even knows what to do anymore, what to talk about when you first meet. She's talking about small talk. She's talking about small talk. I don't think people know how to date. I have a friend, and I can't say her name. I can't. I don't know if she'll see this. She may know I'm talking about her. She had, she's pregnant, 15, 16 years old. Mm-hmm. She knew my wife. I would be honest to say disappointed to think, but that's not my life. I can't comment. But very young. Okay. Now here's why I'm even bringing it up. She did a Facebook post one day, and I saw it. You know what it said?
What?
Baby daddy trivia. You know what the first question was? Mm-hmm. Did you date? How the fuck can you say date, baby daddy trivia? And the first question is, did you date? See, you want to talk triggered? Like, help me understand that. Did you date? You're talking about two human beings who had sexual intercourse to produce a fucking human life. And the question is, did you date?
I'm so lost at the moment.
Well, I'm trying to tell you, a 15, 16-year-old is posting about her child. If she's 15 years old,
yeah,
they're posting about the baby daddy because they don't call it a relationship anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And the first question is dating.
Yeah.
What do you mean dating? It's a quiz about your own child's father, and you're saying whether you date or not. And the question, okay, I'll just get on with it because they didn't date. It is hookups.
See, I don't. Well, right, and I don't look down on anybody who believes in hookup culture.
Me either. I've been part of it.
Yeah,
I'm sick of it. I get why. I'm actually trying to. The reason I'm saying this is because to me the dating sites, maybe I'm on the wrong ones. Okay, but you pay for yours.
We used to call them one night stands or fuck friends. Now you call them hookups. Same thing.
Friends with benefits.
Friends with
buddies,
benefits. Just
everything.
a new word for the
same old shit
that we did.
The most interesting.
Like, really?
The most interesting thing about trying that scenario, I've always found, when are two people that are friends with benefits, meaning you lead completely separate lives, you talk to each other, you do have somewhat of chemistry with flirting and everything, but when does it actually happen that you're both in the mood and free?
I don't know.
Real sex, you got to be in the mood, right?
But my point is, Jared, is that you see women online. I could find a post in the next 10 seconds of women trashing men in general.
Every post, and actually, they're all the same. The profiles.
There's not a lot of men doing that online without getting dissected by every woman on the planet.
That's because the men aren't doing it.
I disagree.
The men don't do it. The profile go.
There are not as many men.
No, there's
right. You're right. Not as many men.
Not any. I'll bet you $20 right now. You spend an hour. Go ahead. Go on your app. You find me one male profile, just one, that attacks the female profiles or says what he doesn't want in a woman.
Well, I'm sure they've all tried once.
No, they don't. They don't. The men don't need to. Just like they don't need to. Or sorry, it's a flip side. Do you know why I'd say 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10, more than half of the female profiles will have disclaimers, won't they? Oh, come on. Don't send me a dick pic. I'm not here for one night stand. Yes. Don't this. Yes. Don't that. It's like 2 seconds of I like to paint and I like this, and then 10 paragraphs worth of don't do this, don't do this, don't do that.
But that's exactly my point. It's that teeny little percentage of a demographic
okay, so
of
what
men
I guess I'm asking you
who
is,
are they
dating apps
impression.
or are they hookup apps now? That's the real question.
I guess it depends how you use them.
Who dates
I don't use
anymore?
it as a
What's
hookup
a date?
app.
Who pays for what? Do those things still happen?
The what?
Dates. How do dates work? Do those things still happen?
You walk out and you meet people and you ask them out on a date. That's what I do.
I'm actually to the point, because I'm a widower. Self-esteem can be fleeting sometimes, but I am to the point. The next good-looking woman I see at the grocery store. Well, you just want like this. I'm trying to say you're right. I would rather meet somebody live in person at this point in my life than go through the trivial pursuit, not the game,
That's
but
a good game.
the trivial pursuit of online dating. It is trivial.
I mean, okay, so
I don't think it's dating anymore. I guess I'll say it's hookups. And I think what you're annoyed with, okay, I think part of the consequence that I'm going to get complicated and deep. Part of the consequence here is the marketing is you'll find the perfect fucking one. Mm-hmm. Whereas the flip side of everything else in our society with music, pop culture, everything else is sexualized. Okay. But a dating app needs,
I don't know.
what, everything we watch, commercials, school, everything sexualized right now.
I don't see sexualization everywhere like you do, but okay. I mean, I'm just
not looking at it.
I don't know. Maybe I can only see the world.
When was
through
the
my
last time
own
you looked
eyes.
at a music video or TikTok?
I remember some pretty raunchy videos in the 80s of people.
You
and
don't think
90s.
okay? You don't think our society is sexualized?
No more than it always has been. It's just
Are you
there's just-
insane?
there's just more
we
of
have,
it now.
Not that I'm going to bring
Because we have
not
the
that I'm
world at
going
our
back, but we got
fingertips.
5-year-olds learning about pride, and you don't think our society?
we're not
Well,
getting into this
you just rolled your eyes, but that's it right there. If our society wasn't sexualized, we wouldn't even have that conversation.
Okay,
because
wait,
10, 15 years ago, you would have been in jail for it.
We're getting off topic.
No,
but-
we're not.
well,
You say our society isn't sexualized.
No, but I'm talking.
Please comment. Please tell
comment.
Jeremy how wrong he is on this one.
Okay, or tell me I'm wrong, and it's
No,
not gonna
like
change
really,
my mind, 'cause
I'd
I'm not going to
love-
try and change yours.
I'd
either,
love
sorry.
to see it. I'd love to see it. Well, that's part of.
But my point is that I
The
could
fact-
find you a post of women bashing men
Where?
online. Back to what I was trying to talk about.
Okay.
In about 10 seconds, hundreds of posts saying that men want this, men want this, men want this. They only do this. They and you know what?
You should change your algorithms.
That 1%. No. I'm talking about if I specifically search for it. Okay.
Well, fuck, who wants to talk about
Okay?
those people?
But my point is
And
that
what has been done to them to make them bitter like that?
okay, but exactly. In my opinion,
Or
they have done it to
sexualized
themselves through maybe they've been manipulated a little bit by our social media and by
Our sexualized
dating
society.
sites, sure. But our dating sites aimed at them. But what's happening is women go on these dating sites, they get hammered with hundreds of messages from men. They go in with the mentality of I'm going to pick the best out of the lot, and so you should, I guess. I mean, if that is, don't touch Buddha.
I'm not.
Rub his belly. They go in with that mentality of you can choose the best of the lot, and fine, so you should. If you feel like that's what you deserve, then I sincerely hope you're the 1% of women looking for the 1% of men. If not, then you're going to get used. That's it. You're gonna find that 1% of men, and out of that 1% of men,
Why are they using
some
us?
of them are going to use you for
why
sex.
are men using them? Why is it
Some of
dating
them are.
app
Let me
that did
finish.
it?
Some of them are going to
You're
use you
making
for
your
sex.
point. I get your
And then
point.
you're going to go online and bash all men because that is the 1% of men
So
that you continue to choose.
You're making a claim that women are bitter because they're
not all women, but some. Yeah.
No offense, but you seem pretty triggered. You seem to be almost taking this personally, and you seem to are saying all these. Most of the majority. It sounds like you think the majority of them are out there looking for the
No.
1% that doesn't really exist, and they're bitter because they keep choosing the 1% only to be burned. And I'm trying to make a point.
I don't think in blanket
That's partly
statements ever.
happening because of how sexualized our society is. You're
okay.
talking about the consequence of it is, and that's
But
what I'm
I'm
trying to
talking
say.
about one aspect of it, and when you say
Oh, there's a handful of
Exactly,
aspects of
right?
it. Here, okay, you want to?
we can't talk about all of them.
You
so
have
I'm
to.
talking about one.
You can talk about
but
all
yeah,
of
we
them.
talk about one after I'm done talking about online dating, and that's my point. Is I mean, in my
But
opinion,
it's all relative.
That this is what's happening, right? Is ladies, I understand this is what dating apps are, and I don't take it
They're
personally,
not
and I'm not
dating apps
triggered.
anymore.
And
They
you know
are
what? I
hookup
haven't
apps.
actually had a lot of experience online dating. So if you think I'm being bitter and speaking from experience of being rejected, you're wrong.
Well,
You're
I-
absolutely wrong.
I thought that.
No, I know you did, and
Well,
that's
that's how
why
it
I'm mentioning it
sounds
because
right
he
now.
said it. No, I'm not.
Okay.
This has actually been just a little bit of an obsession of mine that I've been doing tons of research in, and I haven't actually experienced it a lot because a lot of the women I've talked to on online dating sites are actually really nice and receptive, and they get an impression right away of the kind of person I am. And I don't send dick pics, and I don't ask for hookups and stuff like that. That's just not who I am as a person. So So, but the fact is that they, we're talking women in their 30s and stuff like that. We're not talking women in their early 20s, and those are the ones who are greatly affected by this. And
Everybody's greatly affected by it.
fine, but they are affected more. Okay. And the reason is because they've grown up in a world where they instantly have thousands of men at their fingertips. And when you go in with I have infinite possibilities attitude, then you are of course going to be more selective. It's a proven psychology fact that when you walk into a grocery store, if you have 18 kinds of apples to choose from, you will be more selective which apple you pick. But the fact is that people aren't apples, men aren't apples. And when you specifically go for that 1% of men and they get used, it's that same 1% of men who are using all the women. And then you don't get to complain about all men. Those are the choices you make. You're an adult, you make that decision. And don't blame men for it. Because not all guys are like that. And I know there's going to be some women going, oh, sure, he's just saying that. He's one of them. I've actually had these arguments online, so I know what the responses are.
Only imagine.
I have. I went on a feminist website. How's that for fucking brave? I went on a feminism website and who was bashing men, and I said, give me a break, not all men are the same. And got about 80 comments underneath trashing me, telling me that, this every guy's going to say this, and you are one of the same because you're the one defending yourself. So if you're being defensive immediately, you're the one doing this and you're guilty. You're fucking delusional. So you are, if that's what you think.
Okay.
You're getting used because you allow yourself to be used, because you go in with mentality of what I just said. So you go out, you get off your phone, you go and you meet somebody at a bar, and you get a feel for them.
Is that any age?
Any age, absolutely.
Okay, because I know I've interrupted.
You're gonna bring in people under the age of 18. Okay.
No, I'm not actually. No, I was going to just give you my overall.
Okay.
You've seen. I guess you wanted to talk about it because you wanted to rant about women bashing men.
I don't agree with men bashing women either, but it definitely seems to be
as part of that 1%,
predominantly women bashing men.
Yes. And just because of how emotional you are about it, I've taken it that you're taking it personally or more serious, and you're not. You're just saying, "Hey, I've looked into this shit, and this is what's happening." So, if I were to
not everything I say is deflection. A lot of it is. This one's not.
So, if I were to break it down, here's my thoughts on online dating, despite what I've already mixed up and said. I think online dating in 2023 is hookups. End of story. I think 1% of it is younger people than myself for sure, because I'm almost 48. I'm going to go the 18 to 35, and even that stretching it. Let's go 18 to 25 demographic, okay? Mm-hmm. That's the demographic that you're talking about, and I think what you're talking about is called life. And I think what you're talking about, unfortunately, because of our sexualized society, no matter how much you might disagree, I'm actually happy that he doesn't see it like that, because he's Mr. Family Man, and me and him are very different in lifestyles and all that stuff. So I understand why he doesn't see it like that, 100%. But it is. Everything is sexualized. Everything. Our marketing, everything. And the problem in society, without getting too complicated right now, is the fact that it's younger ages are being targeted. That's the end of the story. That's as complicated as I'm going to make it. But with your dating app part, okay, 18 to 25, they are logging on thinking they can find the one. And that's because of A, marketing, and B, you're right, our technology has given us all this. So here's the thing. The only way to just put that as a mystery of the mind in my own thing. Mystery of the mind is something that you wonder about and you'll never change or fix or figure out. It's just the way life is. Mystery of the mind. The mystery of the mind with that is that's what young people are going to do because of all the above. So whether a 24-year-old hooks up with another 24-year-old and does hook up and it lasts 2 fucking weeks or one night or whatever, and she does it repeatedly, that's that person learning life. We'll never know the intentions of the two people that get together. Ever. Maybe they do it with 100% on intentions. I had a girlfriend. Took a couple weeks for us to actually have sex, just for timing and make sure that we were both feeling it, and we were, and it was hot and the whole works. And then we lost the chemistry. It wasn't there. We stopped talking for about a year, thanks to this Facebook dating. we're both in our algorithms again, and we both, for whatever reason, hit like, and we actually kind of missed each other and started talking about it, but it didn't feel the same.
Do you know, I made a post attacking the idea of the one and people who go into relationships. Or no, I shouldn't say relationships, because that's part of the reason why that post went wrong, and I got a lot of people making negative comments on it. They were all very polite, thank you. But I guess I phrased it wrong, because they went in with that, not so much the one mentality, but the way I phrased it is, it's damaging when people go in with that mentality and give up because there's no chemistry. So what I couldn't say in that post was that you can't meet somebody and 4 days later go, oh, I'm just not feeling it. It's different if he's a disgusting pig, or if you're with a woman who,
how would you make
who's
it
a
4
disgusting
days
pig herself.
How would you make it 4 days?
Or whatever, 1 day, 2 days.
How would you make it past the first date?
The point is that no.
Date.
But that's fine. And you shouldn't stay with somebody if there's no chemistry and
Right.
you're not feeling it.
Absolutely.
But the problem is that you need to recognize that the not feeling it, searching for that perfect one, might be a self-reflection issue and may not have anything to do with the person you're dating. And I don't know how to decide that for you. Okay, because I can't, because that's your perspective of the world. What I'm asking is every person on here, man or woman, go in next time you meet somebody and you say, I'm not feeling it, I should get out now. Oh, there's red flags. Sit down and put it on paper. Put it on paper and look at that piece of paper and actually decide to and ask yourself whether is it actually that you're not feeling it, or are you going in with preconceived notions, which is the quickest way to be disappointed. That's all I'm saying. Is I think that that has happened more. Pardon me here, everybody. I'm just gonna pick up my obnoxious dog here. This pumpkin. She keeps bothering me. But that one mentality of finding the perfect person is very damaging. Because in my opinion, there is no perfect person and there is no perfect relationship. It's two people who decide they want to be together and who share common interests.
Not anymore, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, who share common interests and decide that they're going to work their ass off to make a relationship work. And that's what finding the one is. It's two people who are willing to compromise. It's two people who are willing to, decide where their own boundaries are and what they are willing to accept as appropriate or inappropriate. But at the same time...
So is it okay to realize you're with the wrong person? And
of course it is. But if you do that consistently with every single person you meet...
Then that's the problem with you, not the people you're
Exactly.
meeting.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. If you do that, if the last 15 or 20 people you've dated all didn't feel right and all you got was laid, I'm sorry, but the problem is you.
Well, that's hooking up. That's not dating. That's
but if that's your intention to hook up, then more power to you. I don't see anything hugely wrong with that. But if your intention is not to hook up, and this is how you're trying to find a relationship, you're doing it wrong.
Do you know where I was going with the whole actually segregating the ages?
What?
Why I broke it up to 18 but to 25? Because even 25 is a little young, but I dare say nobody over 25 knew they were going to be single. I want you to think. Yeah, exactly. I hope that makes you think.
Yeah. Elaborate.
Here's okay. You hate. Let's jump into what I really hate. I don't want to be on online dating anymore because I told you about the online buffet. That's what I call it. Eventually, you talk to everybody. That guy that didn't look too attractive or that girl that didn't look too attractive. Everybody's talking to everybody.
Yeah.
That's why I call it dating buffet. It's just a matter of how long before you go to that part of the buffet you said you didn't like. I don't like the mentality most people my age, 30 and up, even have about online dating. I'm sick of seeing the memes. Online dating in your 30s, online dating in your 40s. Online dating is like going to a thrift store and trying to find the... Yeah, you're grinning.
I think I've
made
jokes like that.
We're shooting ourselves in the fucking foot. Are you kidding me? Like, let's log in so I can find some fucked up chick. Like, what a shitty mentality to have thinking about other people and possibly meeting somebody. And I'm terrible for it myself because my closest inner circle will tell you that sometimes I talk about my wife who has been dead for 7 years now, like she's still alive. And if I'm not careful, I'll cry right now. I tell myself I don't know if I'll ever have another relationship because of the fact that I talk about my wife so much. She raised the bar so high. She was unconditional love. That's all she knew. That's all she gave. I got more messages from people that I'd never known that had met my wife and said if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't have made it through some of their darkest times because she never let on that their problems were more important, weren't as important. Like there was never anything going on. And I don't think we're going into this with the right mentality to begin with. And that's what I meant, Jeremy. Half of us didn't plan on being single when we're on these dating apps. A dating app implies single, meet your perfect prince or meet the princess, live happily ever after. And I think that's what you're talking about.
You want to know an interesting statistic?
Sure.
I think it came out of the US and it was like 20, 30,000 people who were interviewed. So of course, I mean, it's a snapshot, just like all stats. There's an old line that any politician knows is there are statistics, and then there is the truth. So, you know, it's take it for what it is. But out of that statistic, they interviewed 15,000 men, 15,000 women. And I might even be getting my numbers wrong, but it was tens and thousands of people. And they said 65% of men are single at this point. And why are they single? Because they feel absolutely rejected by women. They're bitter and they're angry, and they're rejected. And then the something like 55% of women who were also decided to be single because they were being used by men repeatedly, which I find really fascinating when you compare the two statistics, because I think they speak for themselves.
I think
they speak for themselves that, you know, the women, that 55% of women are not picking those 65% of men who are feeling rejected.
Right? I think you got it totally backwards.
Do you?
Yep. Do you know who Andrew Tate is?
No, I know the name. I can't remember who it is.
He's there's so many different ways I could say it. People who don't know can Google him. He was the most Googled guy. His name, most Googled man in it was either 2021 or 2022. They've attempted to cancel him a few times. He's supposed to be under investigation for sex trafficking. I mean, but the guy's not backing down. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing him up is because if you watch a podcast with Tucker Carlson the other day, he was in an interview and he says a couple things in this interview that are very troubling to me. One, he says porn has become a pandemic in itself. You want to talk statistics? Now, I don't know which ones he's talking about. He lists them, so you can look it up. But he says statistics show we're not having sex anymore. Men are not having sex. Mm-hmm. That the rate of porn being viewed. Now, when I heard it, it made me kind of sad. And the reason it kind of made me sad is because the reasons he gave for not watching porn. And it went straight through my heart. It really did. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to watch porn again. Just what he said. Now, he is very mean. He says you're fat and ugly. You're out of shape, and that's why people aren't having sex with you. And he's saying on the flip side, the women have every right not to be picking these men who are depressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. You seem to be blaming, and maybe I misunderstand you, you seem to be blaming one side for the other for causing the cycle and keeping it going. And I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is our sexualized society that you disagree with. And that maybe that 1%, unfortunately, is winning because it's all superficial. Mm-hmm. Guys, we got to get our asses to the gym. Pump up the juices, make it flow, build the confidence. The women will sense it. The women will sense it. I think what's happening right now, we're in a slow boil. I was trying to figure out how to talk about online dating.
But women, but you're right. But women won't sense it if it's on your phone.
Don't go there.
It's but I'm right. You just said you literally just said it.
Yeah, but
yes,
it's part of the mysteries of the mind. It's
men are not necessarily men anymore. I think the red pill community and the woke community, which, by the way, if anybody thinks I'm that far left, you don't know shit about me. But because I think they're just as ridiculous as the alt-right. The two of them just drive me crazy. But the only one I really agree with all the time is Bill Maher. So everything he says, I like. There you go. Watch him. You know how I think and feel. But you know what? Essentially, I mean, men are not necessarily men. Men have been very feminized by our society, and
because of sexualization.
Okay, but genetically,
that's my point.
Genetically, women are looking for masculine men.
Yeah, well, you're not finding
so yes,
them
it is
anymore.
absolutely on men too, or on our society. I focused on that one thing about women because I did tons of research on it. But what I also do know about is that there's a lot of very weak men out there, and women don't have to be okay with that. But at the same time, women, if you're looking for a family man, if you're looking for, somebody to settle down with,
I hate to say, I got to interrupt you.
It's not going to be that 1% of men that you're rotating through, right?
That's the exact point I'm trying to make. You're over 30, even better over 40. We're old. I know that we're old to the 20-year-olds out there. We're like over the hill. Might as well fucking pack it in. What do you log on thinking?
What do I log on thinking?
That's half the fucking problem. What is a 40-year-old woman with 2 children who did not think she was going to be single log on to a dating app for?
I'm assuming to meet somebody?
Right.
Jared,
they didn't ever think at 40 with 3 kids they'd be on a dating site. That's my point.
Jared, you know the women that I talk to on dating sites, you know what we talk about? Our kids.
Well, of course, because you have them.
Yeah. We talk about our children, not
hate
hookups, not one-night stands.
Did you stop having sex?
Did I stop having sex in general?
I was being rhetorical and sarcastic at the same time. That is my point. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. And you tripped on it. You didn't trigger me. You tripped on it. That's actually the point of the two. You don't think society is sexualized, but you just said what's going on with men. That's the sexualization.
I don't think it's more sexualized than it was 60, 70 years ago. I think
then men would still be fucking pumped up and porn sites wouldn't be fucking mainstream.
You think that the red pill community and the alt-left woke movement have made it more sexualized?
Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting. I mean,
absolutely. We've got NCR 17. We've got all these different ratings to classify. Like I said, we got pride parades and books teaching sex in our classes.
Anybody from the 50s, which is way before my time, thank God. You remember the flower child movement and all the people having unprotected sex, which caused the baby boomer thing. I mean,
that's not what caused the baby boomer thing.
The sexual revolution that happened in the 50s. No,
that's not what caused...
Those are the baby boomers. They're called the baby boomers for a reason. That's their generation.
That's not why they're called baby boomers, sir.
They had tons of babies.
You don't know why?
Okay, you tell me why.
You don't know why?
Are you going to ask me that again?
Because during the fucking war, they gave all the fucking families of soldiers money to stay the fucking home and bang each other.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
That's baby boomers.
But it was also the era of free and open sex.
That's the 70s. Free love.
When was Woodstock?
Woodstock 7. Oh my goodness.
Was it in the 70s?
Google it.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, you know what?
I like my world history, US history.
You know what's happening here? You're hearing two perspectives. One from definitely fan guy. He's holding his dog. Like this guy. Anybody in this man's life is beyond blessed. Anybody. This man has children. This man's been in relationships. This man puts his family first for absolutely everything. And I'm getting emotional again because I'm blessed to know him and sit beside him. I've said vile things to this man in anger. I've accused him of things. And no matter what happens at the end of the day, Jeremy puts aside anger and reconciles and shows love. He's the most compassionate human being I know on the face of the earth. And all this is coming out because I know what's going on in the background and I know why he feels the way he feels about certain things. And what you're hearing is two perspectives. I feel like society is in a slow burn right now. I feel like we're that little frog being boiled. And I'm about to get a little complicated with everything. I think our society is sexualized. I think since COVID has happened, the world doesn't have anything to look forward to.
Oh, that's very sad.
Well, do you? What's the world looking forward to?
I look forward to waking up every
You
morning,
do.
actually.
You concentrate on your family and your kids.
Yes.
And you're blessed for that. I wake up praying that I can take care of my dogs. I don't have kids.
But they are your kids.
They're dogs. They're cats. Okay? They like the relationship part is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're actually like kids in the sense that I tell people I have 7 kids and it's like, okay, well, it was nice talking to you. That's a deal breaker for me. But where I'm going with this slow burn here, I didn't think I'd be this emotional. This is why we were debating putting off the podcast today. But I don't want to go for more than a week at a time without saying something. I don't care if we're all over the place. You've seen how improvised we are. We don't hit stop because we don't like saying something. Well, the first one. I had to realize how important what this is. Anyways, since COVID, what does the world look forward to? You turn on your phone. If you don't have kids to take over your day, the world to me feels like the frog that's being boiled. We no longer see our news on Facebook.
Yes, that's right.
In
Canada.
See? People, we're taking it. We're going to go vote for the same politician soon that did it to us. And I don't care which suit or which flag they're flying under. They're all there to keep us fighting with each other. If politics was real, Jagmeet Singh would have called an election already because he has that power. Our government's supposed to work like that to make the people happy. And if you can't form a majority, then there's power there to say, okay, the people didn't want this, let's do it again. Jagmeet won't call an election because Jagmeet knows he won't win an election. So it's politics putting everything together. And I just feel like everything in the world right now, there's no positivity. We're not waking up and hearing good news. The world's got lots of angst and anger. And I'm glad that you're meeting the people that have kids and you can relate to and that you're talking to. You're right. I am seeing the flip side of it. I don't have kids. And at 40 years old, 48 years old, it's really interesting and hard to find anybody single. And then take that to a different level. Okay, we're both single. What are your issues? What's fucked you up in the head? Well, I was married for 20 years on a blind date, and she was the one. I can tell you that. Second I met her.
Nikki was a beautiful woman.
The second I met her in person, the second I laid eyes on that woman, I knew I was going to be with her the rest of my life. I just knew it. I didn't know how or why I felt like that. I just did. And we went 6 months before we had sex. And you know why we went 6 months before we had sex?
Why?
Because I was scared to death. I did not want to have sex. I didn't want a baby. I didn't want those responsibilities. And I was 24 years old, but I didn't care about the world going on around me. And I certainly didn't want to bring a child in because I didn't know how to take care of myself. And then we got together and it took 6 months. And you want personal? It almost ended that night because we got in the middle of it and I couldn't follow through. I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to take care of her or that she'd misunderstand that it wasn't about sex. I loved her.
Well,
You know?
I guess it looks like you're just human after all because we're all controlled by fear, aren't we?
Oh, fear. Fear of what? Yeah, I have
Fear,
no idea.
anxiety.
Well, hey, I'm 48, and like I said, the self-esteem sometimes waves a little, but you know what I don't do? I don't get up in the morning and I don't exercise. I don't get my ass to the gym. We're being dummied down and we're being led to being lazy, not caring about ourselves. Everything's on a little fucking screen in front of us.
Yeah.
And we do what we're told almost. We're not getting out and living life. I don't know how else to spin this whole conversation into an ending, because you look at it with hope. I guess we got to look at it the way you are. And my generation, the single people, if you want to be with somebody, the intentions have to be spelled out right off the bat. And right?
Yeah.
You look like you saw a ghost or you hit a wall or something.
No, I just...
Sorry, I didn't expect to cry.
No, it's fine.
The emotions hit you.
To be honest, it makes me a little sad thinking about Nikki. I can imagine how you feel. I can't actually imagine how you feel.
I don't know what to say.
Makes me sad to think about Nikki. I can imagine how much it rips your heart out. Yeah. So...
I think the hardest... My neighbor just lost her husband. They were in their... I guess they were together 40 years. Older couple, 60s, 70s. She works nights. He was a trucker, big guy. So kind to me. So kind to me. When I moved in, they asked me about my animals, right? They're like, you got all those animals locked up in there. And I said, well, yeah, we got to follow the rules. And they said, nobody follows the rules. Let those animals out. Well, he passed away a couple months ago. He was in a car accident. I see her, and I don't know what to say. Because I can relate, and
it hurts.
Dude, I don't know how to put this to you. If you're looking for the one, here's my advice to you. To anybody looking for the one, because I'm looking for another one. Be true to your heart. And what I mean by that is don't worry about what they think, speak your mind. And more importantly, though, what I wanted to start off with is love yourself.
Love yourself first.
And that is listening to all of the little things that, if you got a list of 10 and you only get one thing and life takes over, be grateful for the one thing you did get and be grateful that you got through life in that day. Eat what you know makes you feel better. Listen to your heart and your gut. That's the first step to loving yourself. Don't deny any of that stuff. Everything else is empty along the way. And I think that's what you're talking about. And there's a little bit of people have to grow and experience it for themselves to realize what they do want. But if you're looking for the one, if you're not good here and here, you're scaring them away. They're out there, but they're not being attracted to you.
Nobody will ever say or do anything to you that isn't a true reflection of how you feel about yourself.
Well, it's funny that you say psychology.
I fully believe that.
Well, you say psychology, and I've read that it's not that we love each other. We love that they love us. You find somebody, absolutely. The reason you love them is because I was an asshole last night. I get like that sometimes, and this person still loves me. I love that they put up with that. You hear that they'll put up the worst with you and vice versa, right?
The one is just finding the one is just two people who work their ass off. And if you're not willing to work your ass off.
You're present all the time.
And if you're looking for that adrenaline rush, then you're looking for a hookup.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for that, oh my God, he's so amazing. We're gonna have a white picket fence and a house. You're just gonna get used.
That's not fair.
Okay,
that's not
sometimes,
fair.
but you can't.
The point I'm trying.
It's okay to want that, but it's not okay to only want that, right? You have to work on yourself, and you have to understand that if you are going in with that preconceived notion, the chances are you might not find it, and you're always going to be disappointed, and that goes for men and women.
Okay,
so guys, not all women look like Victoria's Secret models.
I'm trying to take the superficialness out of what you're saying because I understand that.
Yeah,
that's what a dating app absolutely is. It's superficial. That's why guys just swipe.
Yeah,
because it's in the numbers out of 100. One of them hits and it's fairly good looking. There's a reason to talk.
Men are complaining they're being rejected by women and that nobody talks to them and wants them, and women are complaining they're getting used for sex. I mean, can we meet somewhere in between?
Okay, so if we were to try to sum it all up, society is sexualized. Our government is continuing to dumb us down, make us slaves to our phone, limit the information we do have, and teaching us to be lazy and dependent. There it's all in one great big nutshell. You're trying to say if you want anything in life, you have to work for it. especially a relationship.
Men need to be men. You know, one thing that is consistent is women will look for a man to protect them, to be the to be the protector. The fact is that, and I mean that in a physical sense, we are twice your size. If another man is going to come along and hurt you, you know, a women generally will look for.
Wait, is it okay? Sorry to interrupt you.
Look for a protector, and with men are being bitches, then that's not a protector.
But okay. So porn is up, testosterone down. Biggest thing in the schools is trans and pride. Okay. In our quest for equality, have we lost the traditional family?
Absolutely.
Baby daddy means we didn't get together to go on dates and fall in love with each other. We got together and we were both fucking horny, and we found out that when you're fucking horny and you sleep to have sex together, even if it was 10 minutes or the worst experience of your life, it was enough to ejaculate inside the woman and create a fucking baby. Well, there's the gross, blunt, bottom fucking line to it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I've hooked up. I've hooked up so fast that I've texted, picked the lady up, went for a coffee, and we're both just looking at each other. 2 hours later, it's over. There was that much physical chemistry, chemicals working, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and I have had the same experience, except I say no and I don't go home with them.
Well, I knew it when I logged on.
Yeah, I don't.
Being a swinger for 20 years.
Well,
and then
that's fine. I don't look down on anyone.
I got no problem. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck, if I can cry and tell the world how fucking cool you are, I can explain about my life. I don't give a fuck. That's the whole point of calling it Triggered and being able to talk about whatever the fuck we want. Yeah. I'm even swearing right now because I'm a little up on this one. We've lost sight of what a family means. And men aren't men anymore.
Men aren't men.
And I'm not trying to say that, there's a clip going around. Jordan Peterson, he's talking about, they're talking about, you know, equal rights and how he's so slanted about this and that. And women don't get fair treatment and equal, all this crap, right? And the lady doesn't take him seriously, and he gets offended, and he says, well, how about you word your question like a question rather than insulting me? Mm-hmm. And then he talks about bricklayers. 99% of bricklayers are men. Do we need quotas and laws to make sure that, we need 50, we need it to be equal? Men and women are different. There's a debate going on right now. Serena Williams was called the greatest athlete of all time, or greatest female tennis player of all time. And I think John McIntyre, is that his name? He took flack because, why are you calling her? Why do you have to say female? And he's like, because if she played tennis against a man, she'd lose. And guess what happened? She played the 200th ranked man, professional tennis. Guess what happened?
She lost.
She got her ass kicked. 6-1, 6-2.
Well, there's a reason.
And I don't know a lot about tennis.
This is where you and I completely agree that that transgender in crossing over into sports, transgender men
is political and the sexualization.
It's completely absurd.
Okay, so here's what I'm trying to say. It's all
make your own sport, transgender sports.
We have a special Olympics. There should be Olympics for everything. There should be transgender.
Yes, that should be special. That should be Olympics.
Biological male, transgender male.
Yeah.
Biological woman, transgender male. It just needs to be fair.
Either that, or they need to do a measurement of strictly muscle mass and testosterone and estrogen levels.
That's the point. That's what we're talking about. And you're saying make it equal.
Yeah, make it equal.
You know, when two guys fight, their weights have to be within.
Yes.
Exactly. Why is that? To make it a fair fucking fight.
Yeah, you don't have heavyweight beating up lightweight.
And they got doctors on call.
Yep.
Because if Buddy's knocked out, they help him.
Yeah.
To preserve life. Okay, we're going to do something crazy here, but let's make it as fair as possible.
I agree with you in transgender crossover sports. That's something I'm not okay with, and there's nothing anybody can say to me that is going to.
Okay, so you've mentioned right wing, left wing.
Yeah.
Seal it all up.
I don't like either side.
Like I said, you like to claim libertarian. I don't like anything if people are labeling me, but if I got to go somewhere, it's right in the center. Centrists, You know that saying, you got to stand up for something or you'll fall down for anything? I haven't found out something for stand up for. I'm not laying down, but I'm waiting. I fight for what is, I believe is right, not always to be right. And what I'm trying to say throughout all of this is, I think with the foods we eat, processed foods, chemical levels in drinks, etc., like they've proven testosterone levels are down. That means from the food we eat and lack of exercise.
Yeah.
Food we eat is our society and the corporations and the government all coming together to, like I say, I take it to an extreme. And what I'm trying to say is it's finally caught up to us where the family unit is not thought about or considered anymore. Nobody's thinking about having families anymore. Nobody thinks about dating a mommy and a daddy, 3 kids. Who cares if the third kid wants at 9 or 10 years old, after being allowed to be a boy or a girl, play, do whatever the fuck they want. 10 years old, 11, oh, I'm starting to feel like this. I mean, I'm getting complicated again. I'm just saying we've lost traditional values. And dating apps, to sum it all up, I don't think dating apps are dating apps anymore. I think they're hookups. And I think if you have the right frame of mind, you're on the right ones to be on. And I'm glad you're talking to the women that are like-minded, that have a couple kids with you. I'm looking for something completely different. And I'm not looking to hook up. I'm really not. I'm looking for somebody who isn't bitter that they have been divorced and that they were. It's funny. I don't even want to admit this to you. I'm bitter that I'm finding part of your 1%. How's that?
That's it. That's very honest. Wow.
Well, that's all I get. I'm the consequences of. I'm the side effects.
I turned down that 1%. I shouldn't say I turned down the 1%, but I am, and I'm sure there'll be so many women who'll go, oh, sure. But I'm one of those guys who, if you meet me in a bar, and yes, I have done it in the past, but at this point in my life, I am, I don't know how to be anything else except a loyal partner to one woman and a father. I've forgotten what it was like to be that person before. So I'm one of those rare guys who will meet a woman in a bar, and if it's implied that she wants to go home with me that night, I will generally respectfully decline. And it's not because I don't like sex. It's not because I don't want to get laid. It's because what I'm looking for is not to go home with the woman who's willing to sleep with me before we're ever dating. A beautiful dinner, a night out, whatever happens. But if you go to a bar and you're looking just to get laid, then you're not looking for a relationship. And you're not, and I'm not looking to label anything, right? I believe in dating and getting to know somebody and not put, and that. But essentially, when you go to a bar, and you go home and you get laid, you don't get to complain that you get used. You don't get it both ways. You just don't.
I don't think the guy usually complains.
No, the guy doesn't usually complain, right? But my point is that I mean, and this is just as much on men is men are men. They will not wash their hair. They'll come to the bar sweaty and stinky. They'll put on an old baggy shirt, and then they're going to complain that no girl's interested in them. I wouldn't be interested in you either. Sorry.
I've always said this since my wife passed away, and I've written all the blogs that I've written. This is there on my website, so if you don't believe me, you can go to justlovenobs.com and check it out. I believe the problem is men. Now, I can sit here and blame sexualization of society, because I do.
I'm not blaming either gender. I'm just pointing out.
Oh, it's men. No, it's men. In fact, we kind of got political and spun off a little bit. And today's interesting because both of us had a couple hours when we planned to do this. So we're not like, I'm looking at that clock thinking, okay, like we can wrap this up anytime, right? Mm-hmm. I completely lost my train of thought.
Men aren't men.
Oh, we're not being men. We're not. We're not raising the bar. And before I got complicated and trying to say equality with all the genders, I'm not even trying to take that away. But in a relationship, generally, a traditional relationship, the way me and you grew up, okay, It was, if I remember correctly, okay. Junior high, elementary, it was not really a thought. Junior high, you had to start thinking about it. And you go through junior high and you develop crushes on somebody. And if the two of you are brave enough to talk to each other and say that you actually have crushes on, now you're going out. Which basically means talking to each other, hanging out with each other, doing homework. Unless you're a badass, and that's a whole different conversation of where relationships could go. But that was the way. And then you learn heartache and what it's like being dumped. And then you get into high school and it gets a little bit more serious. But there was dating and courtship.
Yes.
That's the word I'm looking for. Dating and courtship. Courtship.
There really
you would
isn't
court.
anymore, you're
You'd
right.
build anticipation. You'd be happy you'd be excited to see the person. Public displays of affection. You'd hold hands.
You want to know?
All those things, though, would build up the attraction and sex would happen. We've lost those roles. And who cares if you're lesbians? Who cares if you're gay?
Still got to be one man and one woman, even in a gay relationship.
Well, okay. Interesting. That's kind of what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shoot from the hip, so correct me if I say that. I don't know the terminology, all of it exactly, but like if you're lesbian, the butch is the man, right?
Yes.
Traditionally. Now, I'm saying it probably because of appearance-wise.
Not even butch, but at least one of them takes the leadership role. In the
However you
relationship.
want to say it, you're going to have an alpha and you're going to have...
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The one person,
Absolutely.
and what you're trying to say is both people need to be 120% all the fucking time. When you're not doing good, I support you. Vice versa. I know you at your worst. I know you at your best. We bring out the fucking best of each other, though. I'm thinking of Nikki. Because that's what it was. You know, people our age, and I have to say it that way, date night. That's what the old people call it these days. You're grinning because I'm absolutely right. The people married with children who are happy right now, still working on their relationships, they call it fucking date night.
They do, you're
And
right.
it's called fucking date night because back in the day when shit mattered, you would go to a movie or go play golf. And you know what? I'm talking like this stuff doesn't happen. I know it does. I just miss it.
You should watch a lot of the videos that I've been watching, which is where all this came from. And again, I mean, this really isn't a deflection or my experiences. It's just been something that I've researched a lot about. And I love when I watch hundreds and hundreds of videos of people interviewing women in their 20s. And I'm talking 21 all the way up to like 28, 29. And they say, what's the minimum income you would look for in a man? Oh, I want him to at least make $300,000. That way he can support the lifestyle that I want. I've heard that so many times.
You're watching the wrong video.
No, I'm telling.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, well, maybe I'm
you know
a
what?
victim to my algorithm.
I think
don't
so
know.
because here's what I think.
How can I know that?
Here's what I think most women are looking for. From the flip side, me telling you what most women are looking
Yeah.
for, okay? You're talking about the vain types that have probably been born with a silver spoon.
No, but they're not vain. This is literally
That's
what
vanity.
they
That's
think
partly vanity.
they are going to be able to find.
That's vanity. They think, hold on, that's vanity. I don't give a fuck what they look on the outside either. That's, I'm worth this and I will find that.
All right. I guess in that respect, they think they're worth it.
And I don't think they love themselves half as much as they portray. And I don't think they're going to find that. And I think that's your pet peeve. And that's life and the way it works. Here's what most human beings are looking for. They don't want hookup culture. They really don't. They're just getting used to it. Mainly women thinking every man wants it. They want a man that does do all of those things that you said. They want a man that smells good and cleans himself up and cares and shows that he cares when he gets there. The little things. Oh, chivalry, romance. And I don't give a fuck if you're gay, trans, whatever the fuck you are, whoever your partner is, if you don't show that person chivalry and romance, then what is the relationship? That's what's missing from everything. Chivalry, respect, and romance.
Yeah. But, guys go about it the wrong way.
Guys aren't doing it at all.
Well, I don't know about that. I think there is a large demographic of men who have been watching movies and TV series of men standing outside windows singing to the woman, "Oh, I love you. Here are the flowers. Come be with me." I could tell you from experience that when guys do that, you know what the women think? My God, this guy's a fucking pussy. Predominantly, I mean, in women, if you don't realize it, then I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think that if you don't realize that is not what you're looking for in a man, and it sounds fun just to say it, then you're part of the problem, because this is not a masculine quality in men. A masculine quality of a man, he does not beg for a woman.
You're starting to sound like Andrew Tate.
And there's a little bit of a deflection on my part, because I've been low in my life and I have begged for women. And you know what? The difference is that I recognize it, and I fucking hate that about myself. And I hate that. I hated that quality about myself. But I have been desperate, and I have been broken, and I have done it. But at least I recognize that this is not a masculine quality, and this is not something women are going to go, "Oh, you poor baby, come be with me, and we'll live together forever." That's not what women want from men. Women want men to be men. And so stop watching stupid movies about men declaring their love to women. And Tom Cruise going in and going, "You complete me." Okay, because I'm sorry that if it's just not how it works, and a lot of men think that's how it works, and a lot of women say that that's what they want, but it's just not. I mean, unless you're part of that red pill community. And that's fine if that seems to work for you. If you are a very masculine man looking for a very feminine woman, the red pill community is not what you're going to be successful in. Stick to your own community. And if you're in the red pill community, in the woke community, then you better be a feminine man looking for a masculine woman, because that's the only way you're going to mesh. Because you can't have two women and two men in a relationship. And I don't mean that gender-wise. I mean that role. In that role, right? It just doesn't work. It doesn't.
This one's been all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, so dating apps, good or bad?
Good if we start realizing that what we look at is not the real world outside our front door.
You're never gonna get people.
Then bad. Then bad. My experience of dating apps has actually been quite pleasant. I guess it just depends on how you use it.
Absolutely.
But then bad, because it gives people a false representation. It makes men feel rejected, and it gives women the impression that they're going to find the 1% of men. One is not fair, and one is not true.
I think in general, it comes down to one thing: expectations.
Yes.
Okay, so we're never going to solve what every single person has in their mind for expectations when they log into a dating app.
If you are looking for one person to fulfill all of your needs, you're doing it wrong.
Why?
Because there isn't one person who can fulfill every single one of your needs if you don't feel fulfilled as a person.
Okay, we can start all over again. So here's what I'm going to take from this hour where we've been everywhere. If you don't love yourself, looking for a relationship is not going to work.
Right, absolutely.
Dating apps can serve their purpose if both people are honest about their intentions. Whatever happens from there is up to the two people, and we'll never figure it out because we don't get to see that much.
Yeah. You know what, men? Get off your ass, go to the gym, stop begging for relationships, brush your hair, brush your teeth. Don't expect to find a woman who looks like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model when you stink and you smell like BO all day and you haven't showered in a week. And women, go in with some realistic expectations that not all men are perfect.
I got a
right?
good one.
It can go both directions.
I got a good one for this. We're gonna end this because we're just gonna keep.
Yep.
Next triggered, we're going to talk about depression. Is it real? Because you know what? That's what this conversation is spinning from. You're talking, porn is up as a pandemic, meaning nobody's having sex. That means everybody's feeling rejected. Nobody's feeling good about themselves. Let's talk about that next time on Triggered. We've gone on a bit here, but basically love yourself and be honest with yourself and whomever you're talking with.
Yeah.
I don't know what else
Love
to say.
yourself first.
There you go.
Take care of yourself.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time on Triggered.
Bye.